Hello, Wobbly Phil here. Ho ho and indeed ho. It's that time of year again when Santa's bells are jingling and his sack is fit to burst. Speaking as a mature motorcyclist and all-round wrinkly rider, folks seem to find it hard to know what to wrap up and put under the tree for me. Well, a top tip is not to wrap anything too tightly, as my trembly old fingers find unwrapping a pork pie a bit of a mission these days. But age and infirmities aside, friends and family know you're a keen motorcyclist. They want to get you something you'll love, but they haven't the foggiest where to start. And you end up with an enormous pile of motorcycle-themed socks to add to the collection. Fret no more, just link up your nearest and dearest to this video and you'll be in for some amazing presents. Well, maybe not amazing, but they won't disappoint. Despite being inundated with 2 emails so far offering money in return for flogging products on this channel, we're staunchly independent here at 3 Phils. We don't accept sponsors, so you won't find us touting radiation-proof wallets or dodgy handlebar thingies that turn out to be about as much use as a chocolate teapot. You can always hit the super thanks button and send us a small Christmas tip if you're feeling generous. All this is to say that none of these gifts have been sponsored. I've tried to choose presents in a range of prices from stocking fillers upwards. Who doesn't love an old sign or 12 in their bike shed? I do, but not those cheap bits of tut that are mass-produced in factories. The best idea is to head to a proper auction house for one of these, either in real life or online. You're fairly certain to find a decent, authentic, antique sign, although there are no guarantees at an auction. But hey, you're only bidding for a sign, not a Picasso. One of these will set you back from just a few notes to a couple of hundred. This near to Christmas, most auctions have been and gone, but you might get lucky rummaging around in your local vintage shop. I found this Indian sign in a shop near me for just 20 sovs. It's not authentic memorabilia from back in the day, but it's got weight to it, as they say, feels solid and looks the part. One of the other Phils has a touching habit of giving me a bike-related t-shirt every Christmas, and he's always spot on. They're inevitably my go-to for summer rides. Just be sure not to get a Triumph owner a Harley-Davidson shirt, or vice versa. Just a stocking filler this one, but there are key rings and there are key rings. I once made the mistake of buying an Indian motorcycles key ring off Etsy, and what a piece of crap that turned out to be. I then headed over to the Indian website and bought myself the real deal. Yes, pricey for a key ring, but worth every penny. Branded key rings are also great for the significant other who has more than one metal mistress in their shed when it comes to putting the right key in the right ignition. There are plenty of cheap mugs out there, aimed at bikers, but they're all a bit tawdry. I mean, you're not shelling out much coin, but it's a fine line between a smile of joy and a grumpy Christmas Day afternoon in the garage, furiously cleaning carbs. I got this mug as a present a few years back and it's still one of my favourites. It's a quality item. It hasn't faded in the dishwasher and it makes me grin every time I swill a brew from it. A box of old bike magazines. This is one for eBay, but you're only risking a few pennies. Believe me, the mature motorcyclist in your life will sit for hours poring over these. It's definitely money well spent. When I discovered my own stash of 1970s bike porn under that tub of knackered camshafts in my shed, it kept me out of trouble for weeks. A word of warning though, these magazines are almost certainly going to smell of chain lube and mould, so it's best to open them away from the mince pies and turkey. And because of the 50-year-old context here, don't be surprised if some of the photos arouse a need in your mature motorcyclist to jump on more than just a motorcycle. If you're looking for a quiet snooze after the Christmas dinner, it would probably be best to hide the blue pills and mistletoe if you're giving this present. Avoid actual tools, it's a minefield. You're bound to get a metric set for an old-timer with a classic Triumph who needs inches, not millimetres, and then you've got to decide between hex sets, Allen keys, Phillips or flathead screwdrivers, not to mention cheap, useless garbage or expensive proper tools. Honestly, leave it to them to make their own mistakes. But one of those small quality multi-tools, like a Leatherman, is a great get-out-of-jail-free card for any biker. They can pop it in their pocket when they ride out and can use it to persuade anything that's about to drop off their old Triumph or Yamaha to stay back on, at least for the rest of the journey. Sure, they won't be able to rebuild their engine by the side of the road, but I've got a tiny Leatherman on my keyring and it's saved my bacon many a time. Bike gear. There's something for every pocket here, from gloves to boots to jackets. Decent leather gloves have literally saved my skin in multiple scrapes, and I've always gone for armoured knuckles and fingers. You can pick up a decent pair for anything from 40 quid to 100 or more. And any sturdy boot will save your loved ones plates of meat. I typically ride out in Blundstones if it's just a summer wobble around the twisties. You can get Kevlar bike jeans, but I have to say that just quality common or garden jeans have held up remarkably well when car driving morons have pulled out on me without looking and T-boned me in the shins. For that reason I never ride in shorts. An all-weather jacket is a boon too. I've never been into leathers because I find them too hot and sweaty. A properly made alternative will have good ventilation, be kind of weatherproof, and give the biker in your life all the protection they need for day-to-day riding. Again, it's best to avoid the cheaper end of the market and do check if your other half has any brand preferences. A classic bike. No, not an actual classic bike, although that would be nice, but a Matchbox model. You'll almost certainly have to risk going on eBay for one of these, but any bike model from the 60s or 70s will almost certainly engender a wistful look of nostalgia, along with memories of riding back from the Saturday night disco after a cheeky snog and a skimful of Carlsberg Special Brew, not necessarily in that order. And if the baby boomer biker in your life already has all of the above, you can't go wrong with a brand new motorcycle. Hopefully my other half will take the hint. Hit me up in the comments if you have your own suggestions for spreading Yuletide motorcycle cheer. Wishing you all a safe and happy Christmas wherever you are, from me and the other two Phils, and may your big end remain fully lubricated in 2025. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting and sharing to let YouTube know we're doing something right here at 3 Phils. Thank you.